that Trump will go to jail? Just yes or no?
Yeah, no. Sorry, but no. Doesn't mean he won't get convicted. I don't believe he'll go to jail. Certainly not before the election. If you're counting on that.
I'll take that bet, Ellie.
Okay. I know you have one with Alyssa. I'll double on it.
All right. We hope you're wrong, but you're...
So he's going to slide again. He's going to slide again.
Wait, he may get convicted, but he's going to slide.
But you're not saying he's not going to get convicted.
What's your other book, Alyssa?
I think he'll get convicted.
Yeah.
Yes, when you take a look at these cackling hands on The View, they seem not to be happy with this response. This is a CNN analyst, trying to speak the truth to them, that Trump will not go to jail. The segment proceeded, and when you take a look at what Whoopi said, it is actually concerning. I understand how, when it concerns Trump, their takes are always ridiculous. Sometimes I don't even want, to play some of their videos.
Legislators that you just mentioned there in the courts.
Right. What was not true? That there were states where ballots were sent out without people asking for them, where there were changes in verification. The president was told, given advice, that under these circumstances, the state legislatures have the ultimate ability to qualify electors. He followed that advice. Now, you may disagree as to whether or not those things actually occurred or not. That's why we have political debate. We don't have criminal trials over that. We have the discussion like we're just having.
But it matters if those things actually occurred or not, John.
Not under the First Amendment.
It matters if those things actually occurred because...
Not at all, because under the First Amendment...
It does matter if there's actually fraud.
No, the First Amendment allows...
But John, let me stop you there, because if he's saying... The First Amendment doesn't allow the President of the United States to go and try to subvert the election by overturning legitimate electors. I mean, it says it right here in the actual indictment.
Absolutely. The First Amendment protects all speech. If we're going to have a situation where the Department of Justice is going to fact-check politicians and indict politicians for political speech and whether or not they're factually accurate, then this country will shut down politically, because it's a never-ending cycle of tit for tat. And that's the risk of injecting politics into the criminal justice system. So right now, people disagree with President Trump. What's going to happen 4 years from now if somebody disagrees with President Biden in terms of what he said during the election? That's why we don't criminalize political speech. Political speech under the First Amendment has an almost absolute protection. Nobody gets to judge whether it's true or not, except the American people. And we do that in an election. He
actually educated these CNN journalists, and this is the best way, to tackle these people. When you have something to say, don't even give them the space, because they will always struggle to challenge you. She's supposed to ask a question and you respond. When you take a look at this article, I recently came across Jack Smith charges against Trump include potential death penalty. Now, when you go down this article, Special Counsel Jack Smith indictment Tuesday against former President Trump for his role in attempting to challenge the result of the 2020 presidential election include several felonies, including one for which death may be a penalty. When you take a look here, you will see conspiracy against right include a penalty up to 10 years in federal prison, but it adds that if that result from the action cover under this provision, the offender may be executed if two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise of or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, talking about this kind of penalty. And when you add up all the charges and the numbers he might face in prison, is around 500 and something years. Very concerning, which to me is just insane. When I saw this, I had to take time to understand what is going on here. It is to clearly tell you what is happening here.
Now, we sometimes we chuckle. You see us chuckling or stuff, but really, this is really sad. This is a really sad time in this country, because I don't think anybody, even the oldest person in this room, can ever remember anything like this ever happening in the United States of America, because we sent our grandfathers went to fight in World War I and World War II, great-grandfathers, to ensure this kind of thing did not happen here.
Well,
So it's sad.
Criminal investigation in U.S. history.
Yeah, say that one more time.
It's the largest criminal investigation in U.S. history. Can you imagine that? And now Trump is part of it. I mean,
We're living it.
It really is something. I mean, I would like to say I predicted that this was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen, but it's a fairly...
This is ridiculous. I have seen even some insane people, taking this to compare with Osama bin Laden, and some go further to talk about 9/11. And Sonny Austin is sitting here to tell me that this is the biggest investigation in U.S. history. What am I even laughing? It is insane, to see how they always pick up to exaggerate, situations.
And irrespective of the indictment, I want the American people to know that I had no right to overturn the election. And then on that day, President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution, but I chose the Constitution, and I always will. And I really do believe that anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. And anyone who asks someone else to put themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States again. I've been very forthright about this issue, and I'll continue to be. Now, with regard to the substance of the indictment, I've been very clear. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this. I had hoped that this issue and the judgment of the president's actions that day would be left to the American people.
Mike Pence took secret notes of conversations with Trump before January 6, lied to Trump supporters on Jan 4th. I don't want to play the video. Some of you know what Mike Pence said on that day. I think I did an update to that. We will fight to see the truth. He has taken this turn. I don't know, according to this article, once again, President Trump was indicted on Tuesday. You all know. There is an interesting revelation according to Mike Pence's note. He was telling the president he resisted using his office to overturn the election. That was never the issue. Trump and millions of Americans expected Mike Pence to do the honorable thing and turn the questionable result back to the state. Pence's previously unreported note are presented as evidence against Trump, who faces 4 federal charges related to his actions after the 2020 presidential elections.